Right, so we're going to look at the equation of a circle. Okay, so this is a paper 2 question, really, really common. A lot of the time they can give you an equation and ask you to give them the centre and the radius. Or else what they can do is they can draw the circle, which on a graph will show you the centre and radius, and you have to give them the equation. Or else they might just give you in writing the centre and the radius, and you have to write the equation. So there's a few different ways. It's generally a part A of a question, really easy to get some marks. So the first rule you need to know is that if a circle has a centre 0, 0, its equation will always be x squared plus y squared equals r squared. So that's just something we have to know. If a circle has centre 0, 0, the equation will always be x squared plus y squared equals r squared. So if we look at this graph that we have just drawn here, so you'll see from it, let's grab a pen. So you see from it here, its centre is 0, 0. As you can see there, the point A is 0, 0. And then, so we could say about this, so what I would do if I was doing an exam, I'd write centre is 0, 0. And then I'm trying to figure out my radius. And I know my radius is the centre point at any point on the line, or any point on that circle. So like my radius is from here to here. Right, but you all know that's kind of hard to give that point there. That point's too difficult to give, so we won't use that as our radius. We know our radius is the centre point at any part of the line, so why not go out the x-axis or the y-axis where it's really easy to read. So that's 1, 2, 3. So I know my radius is 3. They're the two pieces of information I need, along with my formula. As I said earlier, if the centre is 0, 0, the formula is x squared plus y squared equals r squared. Ours is 0, 0, so we're going to leave it as x squared plus y squared equals r squared. So our radius is 3, so we'll put 3 squared. So to finish it off, then we'll have x squared plus y squared equals 9. And that is the equation of this circle here. Right, so sometimes it won't, not sometimes, it won't always go through 0, 0. Your centre won't always be 0, 0, as you've seen from your book and your exam papers. It might be 2, 3, it might be minus 4, 3, it could be anything. So if a circle does not have the centre 0, 0, its equation will always be x minus h all squared plus y minus k all squared equals r squared. And the centre point, just important to know, is hk. With this one, it's in your log tables. So when they ask about equations of a circle, just go to your log tables, look up the circle, and you'll see this formula here. As I said, h and k is my centre. So from looking at my diagram now, I'm going to try to figure out what is my centre. So hk, and I'll just write centre because we know that hk is our centre in our formula. Right, so on the x-axis it's 4, and on the y-axis it's 3. So that centre is 4, 3. Right, so now what's the other piece of information I need? So I have x minus, I have my h because I know my h is 4 and my k is 3 because it's my centre point. So I need to find out the radius. So again, I'm going to look at my diagram and try to figure out how I'll get the radius. So if I go from my centre point to any point on that line, any point in that circle, that's my radius. Again, as I said, use your x or y axis. It's going to be much easier to find. So that's 1 unit, 2 units, 3 units, 4 units. So my radius is equal to 4 units. You could have found that by going A back to the y axis, and that was 4 as well. Up to yourself, so there's a few different ways you can do it. So now we have to fill into our formula. So I have, my formula is x minus h all squared plus y minus k all squared equals r squared. Right, so I'll put my x minus, because there's a minus there, h, so my h was 4, as you can see from above there, squared, plus y, it was minus, so I'll put in my k, which was 3, all squared equals 4 squared. What's great about the equation of the circle is you don't have to multiply this out. You can literally, just all you have to change is your r squared. which becomes 4 squared, which is 16. So you don't have to multiply all this out. This is the way they want you to keep the equation of the circle for them. So you have your x and your y and your equals, so your radius, so 4 squared is 16. So x minus 4 all squared plus y minus 3 all squared is equal to 16 is the equation of that circle there. Just some last things that they could ask you, so I'm just going to write out random examples. So if they give you an equation, or they give you an equation, they said the circle has an equation x squared minus r plus y squared equals 64, and they say find the centre and find the radius. So you should know straight away by looking at that, okay, it's x squared plus y squared equals the radius squared, so therefore my centre has to be 0, 0. My radius, so if I look, we know your formula is going to be x squared plus y squared equals r squared. So I know my radius r squared is equal to 64. If I want to find r, it means I get the square root to get rid of the squared. So I know my radius there is 8. Again, I could draw that easily if they give me my axis. Now this is obviously going to be drawn really roughly. My centre is 0, 0. My radius is 8, so go out to 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And you know yourself, stick your centre in your, or your compass pin in the centre, your pencil on 8, and go all the way around and draw your circle. They could give you one a little more tricky, that's like x minus 4 all squared plus y plus 8 all squared is equal to 2. So we have to find our centre and our radius again. Okay, so we know our centre is going to be 2 numbers this time rather than zeros because it's the longer equation. So I'll just write that equation up here. So it's x minus h all squared plus y minus k all squared equals r squared. So you know from your example or from your log tables that that's the formula, so that's the one you're going to be using to figure this out. So really important here to see. So I know that hk is my centre. Your log tables will also say that, yeah. Okay, so I need to find h and I need to find k. But if I look here, it's minus h, and minus h is equal to minus 4. So minus h equals minus 4. Therefore h is going to be equal to 4, because if I change the sign of that, I have to change the sign of the other one. So h is 4. Then if I look at my k, so I have minus k is equal to, is the same as plus 8 in this case. So we'll go minus k equals 8. We can't ever have a minus, so we'll get k. Again, we change that sign, so we change the sign over here. So k is actually minus 8. So I know my centre is now 4 minus 8. You'll notice from this that the sign will always change from the equation. So the more you do with these, the more familiar you get with them. And to figure out what the radius is, so we said up here the radius is 2. So we know that r squared is 2. So in order to find r, we need to get the square root of 2. And in our calculators, that will give us a decimal, so it's just going to be root 2. Right. If we had to draw this one, so again, you'd be drawn on your x and y axis. Your centre would be 4 minus 8. So like if we're really rough about it, 4 would be here, say minus 8 down here, something like that. So your centre. Your radius is root 2. So in your calculator, put in root 2, and it's 1.41. So if that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 1.41 is going to just go as far as there. Pencil, pin, and your circle around it. In an exam question, I'd be surprised if they ever give you a square root number. It's a bit trickier, so I'd imagine they will give you normal numbers. Make sure you draw your axes correct. I'm sure everyone can do that at this stage. And that's the kind of questions you are asked on the equation of a circle. Also be familiar with, if they gave you the centre and the radius, that you could put it in an equation.